Welcome to OnLocationVacations.com. I'm Melissa Jones here with filmmaker Eric Bednarowitz. Eric, why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Hello, my name is Eric Bednarowitz. I am the writer and director of Carpe Millennium.
Carpe Millennium is a comedy about a guy who wants to lose his virginity on the eve of the year 2000. In order to build up his desirability with women, he begins lying about knowing a famous celebrity. Just as he's about to get lucky, the celebrity shows up and things take a turn for the worse. Eric, can you tell us a little bit about the concept of where Carpe Millennium came from?
The inspiration for Carpe Millennium came from a number of places, most of which were personal to me. I mean, I took a lot of visual cues from, outside sources, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of the characters that I wrote, I see, facets of their personalities within myself. And so while the film is in no means autobiographical, there are a lot of undercurrents and themes that I certainly connect to as a director and as a writer, particularly relating to this kind of grappling with control, telling the truth, and ultimately really fear of the unknown.
You mentioned struggling with the unvarnished truth. How have you dealt with this struggle, and how is this struggle portrayed in the movie?
I think the truth is something that it's certainly not as simple as it seems or that we'd like it to be. It presented an obstacle for the character that wasn't something that can be just overcome and then we move on. It's something internal, and it's something that I think every person struggles with. And so to present that as really the core, problem in this film, to me was a very difficult but challenging and worthwhile opportunity. And so as kind of the film goes on, we start seeing this stripping away of really who Kevin is and ultimately who he wants to be as an honest individual.
OnLocationVacations.com is a site dedicated to providing fans the opportunity to meet their favorite celebrities, and often through filming locations. What were some of your filming locations?
Physical location wasn't itself as important as story location, if that makes sense. Because the film's self-contained and it takes place interior, technically we could have shot it anywhere. But in terms of the story, I wanted to make a distinct separation and a wedge almost between Los Angeles, which is, the center of the industry, and out there, as a way of almost showing how Kevin has tried to sever the honest portion of himself and who he was with who he hopes to be. And so when we have this kind of meshing of Chloe from his past coming and really seeing who he's become, it's manifested in his location change. But location is really just the surface for a lot of more subtextual content.
In Carpe Millennium, Kevin's character has an awkward celebrity run-in. Can you give us a hint as to who that celebrity is and how you chose them?
Yeah, this notion of celebrity is really something that I tried to tackle with in a subtle way, and it's hard to be subtle about it when it's in the plot, but particularly because we in American culture really hold this notion of fame to be very important, whether we see ourselves as hoping to be famous or just wanting to be a part of that. It's something that has almost become a national pastime. And so I wanted to kind of strip away at that and really kind of get at what that means, in terms of how people use that as a tool. The original celebrity who shows up at the party was written for Kevin Spacey because he, to me, is the ultimate pillar in American cinema as an actor and someone that I personally do idolize. And when it didn't work out with his availability, and we decided to then, instead of go the the route of moving down the list of who can we get, I figured if we couldn't get the top of the pyramid, let's go for the other end of the spectrum, which is to write this totally absurd, just fictitious celebrity. And he's this macho action star. He's Bruce Willis in the 90s. And we called him Sean Blackstone, and he's the epitome of every woman's fantasy and every man's ego, and yeah, so we wanted to really create this kind of idol for Kevin to worship, and then to have that really be kind of the demise of his character. I think one thing that I really wanted to comment on with this film was the reason behind why we create celebrities. And I'm not saying that we are the tabloids that do that, but why we pay any value to them. And I think we were all in a rehearsal and sitting around and kind of discussing this. It kind of came out that celebrity is really the manifestation of our inadequacies. In other words, Tom Cruise is everything I'm not and never ever will be. And we find these people and we place them on this mountaintop, and then we follow them. And so I kind of wanted to take that on and see, well, what happens when we get too close? And then take the audience to the discovery of where we go when we do get too close to the fire, and how Icarus recovers.
It's interesting how you describe the celebrity experience, and I think in many ways fans can relate to the fantasy of what celebrity means to them, as well as the reality of getting too close. We've discussed celebrities, now let's discuss stars in the making. Tell us a little about your cast.
We got incredibly lucky with our cast. 80% of what the film is just getting actors who just totally embrace the role and make it their own. And I mean, first of all, it's a comedy, which is incredibly hard to just direct and force out of people. You have to have actors who just fully understand where the characters are coming from, the situations, understanding what is going to be funny and what kind of motivates that comedy. And I think that we also got very, very lucky getting an agency. We got the O'Connor Casting Agency to take on our film for us in Chicago, and they did a phenomenal job. I mean, we got Stephen Yoon from Second City, Max Lesser from According to Jim, Colleen McGovern, Angela Sprinkle, Amanda Tangway, Joel Wasserman. We got a phenomenal group, an ensemble of actors that from day one just took the script and owned it. And so from there on, we had, like I said, a couple of weeks of rehearsals, and then we went to set, and there was this strange comfortability in the air that everybody kind of had in the cast, and hopefully myself, that a bomb could go off on set and these actors wouldn't miss a beat.
Well, thank you for joining us at OnLocationVacations.com. Carpe Millennium will have its world's premiere at the 2010 Charleston Film Festival. For more information about director Eric Benarowitz and his film Carpe Millennium, check out CarpeMillenniumFilm.com. For your latest celebrity events and filming locations, check out OnLocationVacations.com. See you there.
You won't lose your virginity that way, Backstreet.